It was the kind of afternoon that felt electric, a low hum of anticipation in the air even before the first drop of rain. The sky to the west was a bruised, churning canvas of charcoal and violet. For most, this was a signal to retreat, to batten down the hatches and wait for the violence to pass. But for Jamie Tran, a local blogger known for dancing on the edge of the ordinary, it was an invitation. Her blog, Storm Chasing Stories, had become her identity. What began as a simple chronicle of weather patterns had evolved into a platform for adrenaline itself. Her followers didn't just want to see the storm, they wanted to experience it through her, to feel the wind whip and the thunder crack from the safety of their screens. Tonight, as the supercell bore down on their small Midwestern town, she knew she couldn't disappoint. From her porch, camera in hand, she broadcasted the storm's approach. The wind tore at the trees, their branches clawing at the darkening sky. Fat, heavy raindrops began to explode against the pavement. She typed a single, daring question to her followers. "The storm's about to hit. Should I go live from the old bridge?" The response was immediate, a torrent of encouragement and warnings that only fueled the fire in her veins. "Challenge accepted," she typed, a grin spreading across her face. The park was only a few blocks away, but under the swirling, apocalyptic sky, it was an alien landscape. Streetlights flickered, casting a sickly orange glow on the thrashing trees. She started her live stream, her voice a breathless narration against the howl of the wind. "Look at that sky," she exclaimed, panning her camera upward. "I've never seen clouds move like this. It's like the whole world is holding its breath." Her viewer count climbed into the hundreds, then thousands. The comments scrolled in a frantic blur. And then one caught her eye. A dare. "If you really want to impress us, get a shot from inside the old Whitcombe Manor."
The one beyond the bridge. Jamie hesitated. The Whitcombe Manor. A place whispered about in hushed tones. A skeletal ruin that had stood empty for over a century, swallowed by ivy and dark local legends. It was a place no one went near, especially not on a night like this. But the challenge, the sheer audacity of it, was irresistible. Her heart hammered against her ribs, a frantic drumbeat matching the rhythm of the rain. She set off toward the bridge, toward the manor, completely unaware that the storm she was chasing was nothing compared to the one she was about to enter. The bridge groaned under the assault of the wind and rain, a rickety skeleton of wood and rusted iron spanning the swollen creek. Just as she reached the other side, a deafening crack echoed through the night. A massive oak, ancient and heavy, splintered and fell, blocking her path back. She was trapped. Ahead, through the sheeting rain, loomed the silhouette of the manor, her only refuge. The heavy front door was unlocked, swinging inward with a low, mournful creak. The air inside was thick, still, and unnervously cold, a stark contrast to the chaos outside. The roar of the storm was instantly muffled, replaced by an oppressive, waiting silence. As her eyes adjusted to the gloom, she saw a labyrinth of elongated shadows, cast by the flickering lightning that flashed through the grimy windows. The shapes seemed almost alive, twisting, stretching, and melting into the darkness. It was then she heard it. A faint sound, so soft it could have been the sighing tholium caught in a chimney. But it wasn't the wind. It was a whisper, and it was her name. Jamie. She spun around, her flashlight beam cutting a frantic arc through the dust-filled air. The grand hall was empty. Only the shadows lingered, thicker than ever. A chilling cold seeped into her bones, a primal fear that had nothing to do with the weather.
Her blogger's curiosity warred with her instinct to flee, and curiosity, as always, won. Deeper inside, in what must have been a study, she found it. Lying beneath a pile of rotted floorboards, its leather cover warped and specked with ominous, rusty red stains, was a diary. The blood-stained diary of Eleanor Whitcombe, the youngest daughter of the manor's last residents, who vanished without a trace in the autumn of 1893. With trembling hands, Jamie opened it. The first entries were innocent, the excited scrawl of a young woman. But soon the tone shifted. The handwriting grew erratic, desperate.
Eleanor wrote of shadows flickering at the edge of candlelight, of voices whispering from behind locked doors, of the chilling, constant feeling of being watched. October 14th, Jamie read aloud, her own voice a fragile whisper in the gloom. He is here again, the red-eyed man in the east corridor. He does not speak, but I hear him in my thoughts. He promises such things. But the price. Mother and father do not see him. They only see what he wants them to see. They are changing. We are all changing. Forgive us for what we've become. The ink on the final page was smeared, splattered with what could only be blood. He whispers my name now. Always my name. It is no longer a sound from the hall. It is a sound inside my own head. As Jamie read those words, the whisper returned, louder this time, more insistent, seeming to come from all around her. Jamie. It wasn't just a sound, it was a presence, a weight in the air. The shadows in the corners of the room deepened, coalescing, no longer content to simply mimic the shapes of furniture. They began to move with a purpose that was not their own. The storm outside reached its crescendo. A blinding, jagged bolt of lightning struck a tree just outside the window, followed by an earth-shattering clap of thunder.
For a single, eternal second, the entire room was illuminated in a stark, electric blue, as bright as day. In that flash, Jamie looked up from the diary and saw her own reflection in the dark, grimy glass of the window pane. But it wasn't her reflection. The face staring back was hers, her features, her hair, her rain-soaked jacket, but the eyes were wrong. They were ancient, hollow, and filled with a ravenous, possessive hunger that was not her own. And from the pale, reflected lips, a single, silent word was formed. Her name. The thunder faded, plunging the room back into absolute darkness. The storm outside seemed to quiet, its fury spent. But the silence inside the manor was heavier, more terrifying than the noise. Jamie stood frozen, her heart a block of ice in her chest. She could feel a change, a cold surrender spreading through her limbs. A sense of an old, patient will finally taking root. And in the suffocating silence that followed, she heard the whisper one last time. Not in the hall, not in the air, but from behind her own teeth.